And we are live here, folks, into the action, into the fun. Inferno. Gonna be a bit of a tempo setter here. EG, it's their map pick. There should be a degree of comfort, but they've got to start on the T side. And as we've said before, at times, this has posed some challenges, and especially against a team like paiN, it's maybe the most challenging yet.
It is the weak point for paiN, though, like we said, but they can still pull off some impressive performances on Inferno. Let's be clear here. You're right. Walco staring down towards Banana, but Evil Geniuses appear to be posturing for an A hit. They got a couple of smokes, a flash, and a Molotov to work with. Probably going to have to use one of those to at least get an entry here into lane. Or, of course, bracket decide, depending on where they decide to go. And they're pausing quite a bit here. We talked about this. They sometimes have some issues with decision making, but they are going to move in eventually. Yeah, 3 players into the apartments. Here comes the util.
It's red. It's red so heavily by paiN. Everybody's here, but they still need to get the kills. Now that these players are in a mini pit, this is going to get tough. Crossing will be the challenge, but the mid presence, Skulls is focused forward. Hardzaldo's going to make up for it. Playing around this smoke, sliding in towards short. It's a little bit of a risk, but he's done enough damage. Sets up his teammates, and now as the smoke fades, that bomb is down. They can just defend it. This cover, it's not going to be here, and Zevi, an important kill to take out Junior's position, means that at this point, EG are stalled completely. You can see EG.Jeorge is even a little bit wary of the long flank coming through. He doesn't really need to concern himself with this. If this just play in towards mini pit and pit, there is very little that can be done about this. Bottom player short. EG.Jeorge is going so far wide, is actually giving them a bit of a chance to get back into this fight. Zera, though, stays alive so very long. And Zevi can just tap in the heads.
Wow, the opportunity was there for Evil Geniuses to take the round. There were a couple of very low HP players, but Zevi, as you mentioned, taking care of business. Hardzal before that, though. Wow, what a great little 2K to open up the fragging. Helps his team get a nice, strong foothold on that A site, and Evil Geniuses just could never get through. The biggest problem for them, of course, is they couldn't reroute to the B site after all that chaos because the bomb had already committed to pit, and it was just laying there helplessly as they were unable to retrieve it. So, paiN Gaming take that first round, and Evil Geniuses, because they don't get the bomb plant, will be on a full-on save. Nothing invested into this round at all. Hardzal impressed us a lot yesterday. In particular, Vertigo, B site. He was just standing on his head on that map every single time that he was challenged. He had the answer.
Man was frying. And it's cool to see as well, right? Because once upon a time, Zera and Hardzal were like the hot new prospects within the team. Right? They were the exciting players where we're like, one of them's going to be popping up, blah, 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 blah. And now they're the veterans.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, that's the passage of time, John. It just keeps happening. But it's you know that potential's still there, right? They can have the pop-up performances. They can have the big maps when they're needed, when they're called upon. It's just not as often a requirement. paiN being very judicious with these nades. Now a timely Molotov in towards the Balk. This is going to allow Zera to get a little bit more aggressive. This could actually be bad. There's no vision. They'll trust the smoke. If this was just a flood, if there was a flashbang, this would be such a rough round, but there's not. So instead, it's a massacre. As they come through the smoke, there's nothing to block the vision. And it is just an out-and-out massacre. One flashbang, one Halls Pop flashbang would make all the difference. But without the utility, there is just nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, nice movement from Hex there to get down to mini pit, or almost. But it doesn't matter. No armor, no gun.
Yeah, like even if he gets down there, what's he going to do?
Not much, not much.
So we had to just go die.
Yeah, I mean, EG just trying to make something happen, something work there. They do like to burn the clock down regardless of whether they only have Glocks or, you know, they're on an eco round. They are going to be very patient and not going to give paiN anything for free in the early goings. Hardzal going to toss a nade right down the middle here. And it does connect for a little damage onto Hex. It is a bonus round for paiN, so a chance for the Evil Geniuses to get one on the board here. Setting up a couple of players into the apartments, and there's that utility towards Banana. But again, paiN being very, very patient with their util usage here. That was one. Oh, we're going to see a fight here. Rush is going to get one, and then traded back by Zevi. He could find himself a second, but no, it's George to ensure that the man advantage is briefly in EG's favor. But Zera closes the gap, gets the upgraded rifle, and now Evil Geniuses are going to full-on send it to B, Mike.
They know there's only one player here, so they're trying to collapse on the site, but the utility is just suffocating. Problem is, EG.Jeorge has locked himself out by going towards the cross-section. And So it is going to be a retake. What kind of utility? We actually have a lot of all. Oh, this could be bad for EG. All their smokes are gone. All their flashes are gone. That's a great way to take the initiative. Hex knew they needed something with the utility gone. Now they've got the man advantage. NEKiZ still has a Molotov. One might be retrievable off of the body of Sarah there. But a timely peek again, trading 1 for 1. This is working out. It's all on the skulls, but he's running out of time. He's running out of clock. He has to make the moves now. He's good. And we can do this, but he's trying to bait out a response, trying to bait out a peek. And while he will get it eventually, it's way too late to do anything about this round. And it'll be Junior, the last to survive, as EG get themselves on the board early.
Yeah, I mean, good damage done at the very least by paiN on what was, again, a bonus round for them, but they still won't be able to buy up into this round. Yes, their money's looking decent, but it's probably going to be a half buy into this one. And Evil Geniuses, they collected when they had to. Yes, it got down to only 1 player, but great work to hang on to that bomb site and the adjustment. That's something EG are really good at. You know, we criticize them a lot of their T side, saying they're sometimes hesitant and, you know, their rotations look a little rough. But in those type of situations, when they recognize what the placement of the players is and where they would have an advantage rotating on the map, they make fantastic and quick decisions and rotations. So let's see if they can keep that up here. 1:32 on the clock. Walco pushing up. paiN, not much invested at all. I thought they would go a little heavier than this, but no.
No, they don't want to get into the economic trap early
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
They are a team where even with this minimal investment, there's that slight thought in the back of your mind.
Of course.
And you can see how much respect EG are showing early on, right? They've got this banana control, but they don't know if it's a forced buy yet. They don't know what's on the other side, and they know, I'm sure from experience, how lethal these buys can be. And I will say as well, this is one of the traps EG can usually fall into. Is they overthink things and send themselves into a pistol stack very late without enough time to bail. Right now, they're reading it correctly, but NEKiZ still has a smoke, and now he's spotted one. And as soon as he deploys this... No, they are just going to come through, it seems. They got the utility on. NEKiZ is dead. They've got the site. Okay, so EG don't fall prey to one of their worst tendencies, the overthink. They just make the read, make the play against the limited buy. But George dying alone does give a Galil over. They can find it, and they will. It's something to take out of this round for paiN.
Yeah, I understand the idea for George to catch rotations in that situation, but I would have liked him to back off a little bit sooner and join up with his teammates. That said, I think the Galil will go out of their hands anyway. Junior's going to get one. He knows where Skulls is, and Skulls, there's really very little room for him to maneuver. He's got 2 players bearing down on him, and Zevi manages to collect 1 before probably going down here because Hex is watching, and indeed, Hex will get that second frag for himself on the round, and we are all tied up at 2-2. So paiN made an effort there on their pistol round. They had NEKiZ over at the B site, throws the smoke, but I mean, it's just not enough with all 5 players, or I should say 4 of the 5 players pushing in on him. So that's it.
I do like the confidence from EG, right? I mean, you realize that's probably just 1 player there with the delay util. A lot of teams run that, but still, it's something that has been an issue for EG in the past. It's nice to see it not be a problem.
Yes, agreed.
Full gun round. This one should be spicy. There's a bit of limited util, but honestly not much for paiN. They've got pretty much everything they could want outside of the AWP. Zevi, he's fine with the rifle. Might play it slightly differently, but it shouldn't be too much of a limiting factor. Hadzao's getting aggressive. As I say that, he falls off. Was wondering, the Hall's Peak is a dangerous one to do with an A1S or an A4. And EG were clearly expecting some aggression down banana.
Yeah.
There was utility early on. They waited for that to fade, and now they make their moves in, now that the mollies are built.
This is something I was going to mention earlier. paiN's problem at times can be dumping their utility way too early in the rounds on their CT side, and they weren't doing it earlier. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're kind of being more disciplined, but here they really lost a lot of it, and they don't have any Molotovs left to slow what could be a very late push by EG, which they like to do. So you'd think paiN might save a Molotov, but here Big Uzera almost burns to a crisp in the cubby there.
Smoke.
He does evade it, but yeah.
That was neither of them having a smoke, Zevi or Big Uzera, so... That's going to cost Biku a lot, but time is starting to become an issue here once more. 30 seconds on the clock, and it does seem like pressure's going to come in towards B. There's still a smoke. They're going to re-smoke this. EG has to come through now. They have to come through. They just haven't left themselves enough time, so they are going to make their moves. Zevi's coming in to support as well on the spam, and they're panicking. They're rotating. Oh my goodness.
Do they even have
with
time for
10
this?
seconds? I actually don't know if they even have time. They're going to think they do. They kill the pit player immediately, so we will find out, and the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh,
Nope.
no.
No, they do not. A fraction of a second off,
Oh,
a
my
quarter of a second
goodness.
there, but that is exactly the Achilles heel of Evil Geniuses.
Oh,
The late
man.
rotates, the panic pull-offs, one smoke there enough to bunch them up, and they only get one kill out of the picture.
That is just... That's gut-wrenching. I mean, we've seen it so many times, and it sums up everything that we talked about in the pregame. You're right. Man, 15 seconds on the clock, and you're saying, I don't know if we should go to the B site. And you see there are a couple of players who are a bit confused. Like, are we really falling back? Are we really going to do this? And yeah, they eventually decide to full send it back to the A site, which, I mean, yes, is a good play in that situation if you have 5-10 more seconds available to you to make the rotation, but in that situation, I don't know. I mean, probably would have been best for them to just try and send it to the B site.
Yeah, I mean, they left themselves in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have enough time to bail out. You don't have time to wait the utility. You have to go. And it is something that we see
It's clock management.
from EG.
It's clock management. Simple as that.
Clock management gets them. Timidity at times, the unwillingness to they don't want to give up an advantage, right?
Yeah.
That's something they're very afraid of doing. So they try and mitigate the risk. They try and, mind game it through, but then you wind up in these situations where you just never have a chance. Off the spam. No connection just yet. Zevi will back away, but he's got util as well to shut this down, so they cannot go for the short play. And peeking back in. That's ambitious. Throw the nade. Throw the nade. It would connect. He doesn't trust his instincts.
There it
that one.
goes.
There's the HE.
Oh,
Walk go low.
could have been
Utility
more.
gone means Zevi's going to have to pull back on this one, and he gets caught on the geometry. Thought he could slip the corner, but no. They've got the split onto B. 30 seconds going to be an issue again. There is a smoke here deployed. It's a bit earlier this time. They should have enough. With Walgo's position, surely they're...
No, they can't.
No, they're going through. They are indeed. Spam's good, though. Skull's so much damage. And he's trying to get back in to help out his teammates. He's going to do exactly that. He's found the maneuvering. He's found the space. And EG.jeorge is the one to find the kill. The bomb does go down. But this retake is on. And actually, because they've left Walco alone, he's kind of stuck in this position, waiting to try and catch a rotate that'll never come. They knew he was here, so they pushed down mid instead. It's a good read. And it's given them an advantage in this retake. So they need some snappy shots. Junior trying to chase down the church player gets caught. And it's all into Walco. And they know where he was. They know where he was. They know where he has to be. He'll confirm it for them. Bomb defused. Nothing Walco feels he could do about this, so he's just going to try and save the gun.
Again, just a little bit too late to go for their execute, and paiN Gaming appear to be ready for this. The teams actually haven't played against each other throughout 2023. This is their first matchup, but I mean, EG's tendencies on Inferno are well documented. I'm sure paiN are no strangers to them.
It's kind of like... I'm trying to think of an apt metaphor for this, because it's something that we know about EG. Everyone who plays against them regularly knows about EG. They know about EG as well, because you can see them try and correct this tendency.
Yeah.
But it's chewing your nail, you know? They know they have it. They know it's a bad habit. They know it's a facet of the way they play the game. And here's Walco trying to correct it, trying to get aggressive. He's trying to be the guy who Heimlichs them into a round, and it just... in this instance, is a little bit too much. Trying to make the big play with the hero rifle, it doesn't work. It's down on the dirt.
Yeah, and I think another tough thing here for them is that Junior's obviously more effective on the CT side of Inferno with the AWP. He goes for a lot of opening duels, but on T side of this map, it's a little tougher. Yes, he can start to get into a rhythm, but you need to give him enough money so he can actually get the op in his hands, which will happen eventually here. They are setting themselves up for it, but it takes time.
Out advantage on this peak. And Hard's out is eventually going to catch EG.jeorge, who peeked with utility in hand. Maybe he thought Hard's out had fallen off the angle, but whatever it is. Zevi doesn't realize they're past. Timing was a little awkward on that Molotov. Didn't think they'd be in the smoke, and now pressure's onto his teammates. Very nice HE. Unarmored Junior and Hex. This is going to be tough, but it's not impossible, and that's a ripper of a shot out from Rush. That is an absolute ripper. Oh my goodness. This might actually be a save for paiN. It feels absurd to say this round should have been nothing, but paiN get caught out. And a couple ripping headshots out from Rush, and Hex turns this round on its head.
Yeah. They're going to save. So
They
2
should.
AKs are enough for the Evil Geniuses. They do so much damage. Rush in particular, right, with that 2K, and Hex with the deagle and the nade. We can't forget about that perfect toss of the nade. Didn't matter in the end because he got the headshot with the deagle, but still, he put a lot of pressure on the paiN Gaming player over in pit. So Evil Geniuses sneak away with a round we thought they wouldn't even have a chance in, and get a third on the board. And also, not to mention, there's the op for free.
I mean, the astonishing thing as well is you're saying the 2 AKs work. No, they didn't. The
one
first
AK
one
worked.
got dissolved
That's right.
immediately, right? But then it's Rush opening it up, Hex with a ripper of a shot as well. And this puts paiN in a very awkward position. I mean, Zevi might be on a scout here. I don't even know what he's going to break out. It seems like it's just going to be a dig. So there's a lot of limitations here. The nades are not going to be great. And here's the moments. Okay, it is a scout indeed. But here's the moments where Evil Genius's slow grinding style can really work out when there's not perfect nadage on the other side.
Yeah, and I think one thing that teams who have played against EG often make sure they have is a Molotov or two towards the latter part of the round to make sure that they slow them up if they try to go for that last second hit. Yes, paiN has won both rounds where EG tried to go for the last second attempts, but still, they haven't had Molotovs in those situations. It could cost them eventually.
Could do. Look at this aggression coming through from EG.Jeorge. Taking this bottom. Oh, there. And playing anti-flash. That's going to be one gone. Skulls knows he has to back away. A 1-for-1 exchange there honestly kind of favors the T's, you would say. Especially with the lack of utility on Banana.
I think psychologically, though, it favors paiN because EG might be a little more hesitant and reticent to go up Banana, but actually, no.
Maybe. No, they're going to fill the space, right? They know they've softened this. They know paiN usually plays 2, 3. So they're going to try and pressure what they view as the weak side, and they're absolutely correct here. Skulls is betting on himself. He's just going to make this happen by the might of his gun. Boost up. That's going to be checked. First player down, second as well. Skulls can't quite transfer for a third, but he's given his team the advantage. Now Biguzera going to be on the spot. That flash is so good. Bigu wants to go through it. Oh, he's going to catch Junior. Junior has no idea. The snap around is there. Biguzera can't quite line up the shot, but he's got the right idea. Bomb is down. Zevi wants to walk this, or just play it on the fade. Actually, if they both play this on the fade, this is kind of brilliant. And they've seen it. They've seen it. Rush, no way he's getting away from that. Hardzao willing to put his teammate down if he needed to win the round. And there's the upgrade for Zevi. There's the op found now, and paiN right back on the board.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Evil Genius is just letting that one slip away after a very impressive round victory. Once they actually had the hardware in their hands, they couldn't pull off the round. At least they get the bomb plant, though, onto the B site. Not much you can do there if you're Junior, right, with the player pushing through the smoke. It's just a bad situation where he's trying to close the gap, and Hardzao catches him off. So paiN going to pick up a fifth. They get a couple of free upgrades on their side, and they will have a full-on buy. The good news for EG, they had a lot of money because of the way they won that round 2 rounds ago. So it's going to be 3 AKs, a Galil, and an AWP again to try to take a fourth. EG.Jeorge is fighting here towards mid, and he's going to go down to 16 HP. Zevi takes some damage as well from the nade that was tossed over as a fadeaway. But I'd say advantage paiN here. There's going to be a fight top Banana right now. NEKiZ is getting flashed out. Perfect flash again thrown by Skulls. And NEKiZ gets traded out, though. So Junior at least ensures that we have a 4v4 here. But the low HP player, George, makes this, again, a slight edge in favor of paiN.
One would think. But EG are doing a good job of trading that top Banana aggression, right? But a very good job of making sure they don't lose too many casualties there. It's this mid-round and late round where we've seen the spice, though. I'm surprised this hasn't been called back over for Hardzao. He must think this is a fake. Because he's alone. And a ton of util sailed over there.
Great
now they've
shot.
confirmed Junior's position. This is actually a B split. So keeping the numbers here would be good if they weren't just getting picked apart by Junior. This guy's making it all happen, and he'll take the next as well. So Junior's just single-handedly won this round. 4 kills notched into the stock of his AWP, and he doesn't even need teammates. By the time they get here, I mean, you could tell. They're like, is there anything for us to do? No? Cool. Good job, Junior.
For real. I mean, at one point he was flashed just holding the angle and timed the shot right to get his second frag. And after that, they continued to go for 1v1 engagement with him. And in fact, he took the initiative to them. right? In some situations. So well played from Junior. I told you, once he can get activated with that AWP and find some opening frags for his squad, that is when things start to get interesting for the Evil Geniuses. And, well, he didn't just get one this round, he got 4. And that's what Evil Geniuses will also have on the board here, as they're trying to tie this one up at 5, which will be very likely, given that the economy and the buy-up in the next round for paiN will not be that great. Still have an AK to work with. We've talked about how dangerous paiN can be on those limited rounds. We saw them yesterday with just USPs win against the Timbermen. That's got to feel good for Junior, though. Only 2 frags up to this point. Finally activated.
It's a hell of a time to explode as well, right?
Yeah.
Such a critical round when the momentum could have been going against your team if you dropped it there. Now, I mean, this is ripped wide open on their own map pick. If they can convert here, and they by all rights should, you've got a good T side going. But as you painted in the picture in the last round, paiN is dangerous. These limited buys.
It's actually a force buy, surprisingly.
Double eco for 3 players, I think.
I think so.
Like, their hand is kind of forced. And hides out to try and force the issue to no success. Peek back into the bedroom. That's risky, but Biguzera wanted the gun back.
Biguzera is still a threat here, obviously, with that AK in his hands, and NEKiZ could pose some problems with the MP9. But they're not on the same site, so it's going to be the A site. I would say it might be a little tougher for EG to take, but B, which they love to go to, could be softer. But up close and personal with that MP9, it's actually a really good spot for paiN to put it. So not done yet in this round.
It back late.
Yeah.
Look at this. Maybe just setting up another salvo of utility here.
Could still go back to B. Feels
paiN
like
are
it.
setting up specifically to punish the B wrap that we saw in the last round. You haven't seen the response here from Evil Geniuses, so it's all just about what they call. And they're calling a B take. They're calling a B take with 40 seconds to go. There's one flash here from Skulls. Could maybe
Rush has
flash
A.
his way through
Rush
the
has A.
cross. Oh, he's on the site. Okay, they're rotating. But this is actually... Okay, this is where it gets really weird. They're now going to re-clear back in. Rush is holding the angle. If they'd actually just held mid, plus a smoke for it, this kill, this could be huge. Zeffy loses most of his health. They know where he is. And that's a great kill from George. Last bullets in his gun also. The bomb will go down, and there's not a whole lot we can expect from these remaining 2 players.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to get an upgrade here. Hext going down for the count. NEKiZ picks up the AK, Skulls has the MP9, and yeah, that's it. So 1 rifle upgrade for paiN, but Evil Geniuses, a good little lurk from Rush, finds his way onto the A site. You're right, it was dangerous with both those players coming around the corner because they weren't cleared out from our side, but was dealt with. So we will indeed be tied up at 5-5. Nice little run here by the Evil Geniuses with 3 rounds in a row off of Junior's opping.
Yeah, I mean, this is massively encouraging as well if you're looking at the long game, right? Already up to 5. Economy on the back foot for paiN Gaming. If they can get to 6, I mean, this is a successful half. Anything beyond that is very good considering how Inferno frequently pays out for Evil Geniuses. I think they're thrilled right now.
Yeah, that's a great recovery. We always have those shaky moments, though, right, in the early goings, but it seems like they've settled down.
Does feel that way. Molotov Boynin. One big threat in this round is that AK-47 in the hands of NEKiZ. They've shifted Skulls over towards A, so on the bottom of the totem pole is Biguzera with that 1 smoke. Try and set up his teammate. But a top brackets control, nothing seen just yet. How do EG read this? And it starts to pass on the clock, and the question becomes, what do they want to do? Because they're not going to be given any aggression.
Yeah, it feels like they're stalling out a little bit at top mid,
There's a
and that
flashbang.
could cost them.
Skulls went for a little bit of a peek. I don't know if he spotted anything. They're going to try and make the move. Having seen that bit of utility go out, they send the nade to punish Skulls. And now,
It's a B
this could
pincer.
be the split on B.
Yep.
This would be tremendous if they just go through Arch. They're a little bit wary of it. But as soon as the smoke fades, they should make their way through. 35 seconds. The question becomes, can these two players on site kill the banana players before the split activates? That's the big question. If Hext overcommits, time is beginning to get an issue. If they could actually get this bomb dropped and then fight into banana, well, there was an opportunity here. But they back away towards site, trying to buy time instead, knowing that the clock is low. So now they need the kills. NEKiZ, only one. That's not going to be good enough. This bomb will be down. There's not much to save on the paiN side, but Skulls may at least try and save his armor.
Yeah, the armor and the MP9 probably worth saving here on the paiN side, but Junior's going to take down Hard Zhao, and that probably is the end of any aggression from paiN. They're going to go for exit frags, but EG's probably going to head towards CT and not banana. I take that back. They're going down banana. So maybe Skulls will be able to collect here. We'll have to wait and see. George?
There's a chance. They don't have to commit into this
No,
fight
they
at all.
don't. They don't.
Hex wants to, though.
Oh, I think it's already.
You saw him. You saw him. Skulls like, you know what? I don't have the one-shot headshot gun. Rip.
It's, nice job by EG, though. I like the space that they took. Very patient on their play and movement in towards Arch side. And once they get into it, they wait for that smoke to fade. A flashbang is thrown, and then the pincer attack is on. And I mean, I guess luckily for them in some ways, paiN backs off onto the site, clearing the way for the two players up banana, and then funneling paiN, of course, into the crosshairs of the three oncoming players from CT. So that really did work out perfectly for EG, but it was a limited buyout for paiN. Now they have the rifles back in their hands. No op, though. Couldn't afford it, I think, with 3 A1Ss and 2 A4s, and it looks like almost full util. Timeout's going to be called here.
Zevi could have bought that.
I think
It's a
so.
willful choice. Yeah, he spent
I was going
2,700.
to say, it's weird.
He has exactly 4,750. Could have bought into it. Wouldn't have had utility, right? Someone drops in the rifle, but it could have been done.
This
Interesting.
is an EG timeout.
That's very interesting. Momentum in their favor. They're a team that likes to call these calm down and try and make sure you win this round timeouts. This is the fingerprints of Axed on it, making absolutely sure they know what the plan is into this round, because if they win here, it's a really solid. I mean, it could even be a dominant first half showing.
Yeah, because after this, I don't think paiN would necessarily have a buy-up. They'd probably want to save for the follow-up.
Yep. So this is the moment where you can take us from being, oh yeah, we're looking good, to,
Looking great.
yeah, we're cruising. Nice nade, timely. A follow-up as well. Lots of utility available here for Zevi, but it's the faster play. EG wanted the tempo breaker out of the pause, and Hard Zhao gives up his spot. Oh my goodness, paiN overcommitting into the fights. The utility is so punishing. So this pace here play caught them massively off guard. EG with the change-up pitch, and this round's well over and done.
Wow, that was impressive. I mean, the fact that the Graveyard player doesn't really get implicated at all in that fight and EG completely isolate them is impressive. Some great Molotovs thrown down towards Mini Pit and Balcony. So paiN were funneled right in towards Big Pit. And wow, just fantastic work from EG. The shots on point by Hext and George. Well done. And there's that 7th. That really could crack things wide open. NEKiZ and Skulls are trying to save the A1Ss, but EG are hunting. They have the money. They got nothing to lose. And paiN has everything in this half. They don't get these guns over.
Conservative on the spot. Let's see. The clear out. Goodbye, NEKiZ. Skulls will take 2, and that should allow him to save his gun. Indeed, it does. But it's only one rifle limping through. There might be enough money here to actually justify the purchase. Zevi's got a little bit of safe cash. Bigu can pick up something. Skulls can drop a rifle.
I don't know, Mike. 7-5, there's no reason to panic, right? They can just go for a half buy and get the full buy next round. They're thinking about it.
Where's the fun in that, John? They agree with your philosophy.
Yes.
Everyone's going to have armor. There's some upgraded pistols. You've got that one rifle for Skulls. He's the kind of difference maker who could just tip around individually, but needs to be put in a position to succeed. And right now, paiN Gaming are trying to run light on B, just with NEKiZ. Just to try and sell this with the util. He's been given extra nades, I think. Back by the church, so he's just going to try and stall this out if it heads his way.
A little surprised to see paiN stack the A site as opposed to B, although credit to Evil Geniuses, they really haven't laser focused themselves towards the B site, but certainly I think have favored it. So paiN gambling that A will be the take. They might be right. That one smoke has pushed EG off in the past, right? We talked about it many times.
This boost up over as well. Skull's not spotting it just yet. There was the poke and prod from George, but well, everybody's here for paiN, and it doesn't seem like they're going to get an opportunity to do much of anything. So how much do they want to commit? Oh, my
I don't know, Mike.
Anything stalls EG here, this could get real weird.
Oh, they're taking too long.
Get real weird. There's the one to drop. It's Junior down in the back line. Second player drops. They need to run. They need to run in towards the site because this is coming thundering their way. Hext and Walco, what can they do to stall it? A bomb plant can be guaranteed at least. But now they need to stem the tide. Guns have been picked up. Boost ups forming here. And Zevi will capitalize with a newfound AWP. Walco alone. A bomb to try and guard like a dragon might its lair, but he's alone. There's a lot of dragon hunters coming his way. Take the first out of play, but NEKiZ well able to punish on the second. 3 guns are taken through, and paiN find a round from nothing.
Just a half buy, but they had the rifle. Of course, that was saved over from the previous round, and look, because of the way EG's been playing, you know, towards that B site, paiN thinking, okay, this is weird. There's 30 seconds left. We haven't really seen much of anything. Let's just have a peek out mid. If we don't see anyone, might as well go for a flank towards B. And that's exactly what happens. They walk it too. They don't give any audio cues at all. And by the time they're there, EG are still trying to set up their util for their actual execute. And they took a little too long to go for it, of course. And wow, what a punish from paiN. Great shots. They pick up the rifles. They get upgrades for free on 3 players. Couldn't ask for more than that out of that round. So 6 for paiN. Now Evil Geniuses, of course, they have the money to buy up here, but that was a round you really thought they'd be able to take. And instead of having a stranglehold here, well, it's going to be a much closer affair at the end of this first half. Zevi going to get that shot onto Walco to open up the fragging, and Evil Geniuses forced off thanks to some good util usage from the Brazilians.
EG are really committed to trying to take Zevi out here. And it means that they haven't had the opportunity to take space towards A, right? There were 3 here early on. Zevi does not typically play towards this B site, so they're still going to get an opportunity. Actually, NEKiZ sticks around, so not quite the reinforce here onto A. And the faster play, you keep the threat. Molotov down. It's so punishing. George burns. And the health isn't great on the rest. Pressure on Bigu, able to take the first, the second as well. Doesn't even need the crossfire. And now Junior all on his lonesome. What does he even have? I mean, there's money enough that he probably just... Well, actually might not. His teammates might need drops.
Yeah.
Just second round loss coming in. It's not great.
That's 2 AKs, and Junior can probably still get the util afterwards as well. So definitely better for him to try and save here. paiN is hunting. Oh my goodness, there's so little room for Junior to maneuver. The gaps are being closed, and the possible locations for Junior become less and less as the seconds tick down. Junior hiding here, but the paiN players are starting to figure out where he might be. He's going to get that frag, but that means they're going to come swarming in on him. Has to hit everything and can't. Gets a couple. NEKiZ takes him down, and that means that, well, they'll probably still have a decent buy up here, but it would have been a lot better if Junior had been able to save the op.
It would have been. It would have been nice. That's not going to happen, but
no.
Hey, I mean, look, 7 rounds is already great.
It's
considering
good.
The way this half started out for EG, but the paiN Gaming, you don't want to allow them the opportunities. You don't want to allow them the gaps to slip into the rounds, to expand things, to make things a little bit interesting.
I mean, the window was cracked open a little bit, and paiN is starting to swing it wide open. from NEKiZ. It could do some damage here, but doesn't really connect as Evil Geniuses were forced off a little bit from the Molotovs that were thrown. NEKiZ is going to come around the corner, and Hex has a bullet with his name on it. Nice shot from him. 5v4 for EG, who are trying to take the edge heading into the second half.
See if they can do so. Still a lot of utility available for paiN, but trying to be a little bit more conservative with it. As I say that, the Molotov comes out. Zevy's burning. He gets away. He's not punished. They didn't peek off of it, but he is damaged up in a big way. They split towards the sights. Pressure on. Zevy actually looking like he might want to retake a little bit of space here. But they're coming his way. He's got to get ready. Oh, the timing off. He spotted it. Is there a flashbang for this? They're trying to jiggle to bait it, and that's the perfect setup. Beautifully done there in towards mid. And now, what do you got for us, Hearts Out? Because it's going to need to be something special. He hears all the footsteps, he knows, but his teammates a little slow to rotate, and it just may not much matter. Skulls, Bigu gone. Alert catches them from Hex, and it's all over. Never even a chance to pull the trigger back the other way. So an advantage here for EG as we head to the second half.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
back into this second half, and Evil Genius is making a real meal of that first. Looking good in this one on their own map pick, and now paiN. Well, we know the explosiveness that they bring, but they got to do a whole lot of exploding if they're going to make this a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, down 5-2, EG were, and there were a few mistakes that got us a little bit concerned for them, but then they went on a 6-2 run to close out the half. It could have been even better, right? But there was a moment where they just couldn't deal with the eco round that paiN brought their way, and that one rifle that was saved over, even though it was most of the pistols doing the damage on a nice little flank. Anyway, we're into the second half. George going to get the headshot onto Zevi to open things up. Hardzal's lurking a little bit in Boiler, but he's going to fall off with his teammates, and they might favor an apartments pop instead. But that first frag is going to help out a lot, and that one even more so as Resh peers in towards apartments and takes the head clean off of NEKiZ.
This is how you like to start things. Certainly does make life a little easier here. paiN Gaming trying to let some time whittle off this clock, see if anything comes back their way, but we know EG. We know the patience this team loves, and they're not going to be giving this back up with such a massive advantage. And they still got utility as well if they need it. That's over towards Feast or retake. If he set up well, this crossfire is just too tough. Skulls, though, does so much damage. One more kill to find, and a bomb plant is yours.
Still possible.
That's tough to do. Rush is not giving him any easy advantage. Now the reinforcements are here. Hex comes in the nick of time to keep his teammate healthy. Oh, it was Hex and pitch.
Yes, it was.
Just completely confused about who's what and the when where.
No worries, Mike. But yeah, Hex doing a great job being patient, waiting over in pit, and eventually when he is able to get that frag, he does not waste any time doing it. 9-7 in favor of the Evil Geniuses, who win that pistol round. Just a great little opener with the dualies helping them out there. And speaking of the dualies, that's something that Junior likes to run here on these second rounds of their CT side, because it helps them save cash and get that off up a lot sooner. And it can still be very effective, especially when the T's don't get the bomb plant in the previous round, because it's a lot more likely they'll be on, well, an eco, as you can see they are here. Glocks across the board. The only thing purchased up, a decoy. I wonder what Skulls is thinking there. Passing that towards lane. Junior's exposed here. He gets one, traded out. Not a big deal because he only has dualies, and Rush is right behind him to get a 4K. Okay, right. Rush, 10-7.
Stack them on up, Rush. Why not? No bomb plants here. The guns will come out for paiN, but it's about as good of a start as you could hope for here for the Evil Geniuses. And you see why Junior doesn't buy a gun in the second round? Because he wants this AWP.
It's such a good move, especially when like the circumstances favor it, right? And you deny the bomb plant. It's fantastic.
It's a great one in that situation. There's a little bit of a risk, but, you know, a risk he's willing to take.
I mean, if you get one with the dualies, you're good. So,
true.
And he had it.
This is true. You're correct. Correctamundo indeed. We do have a little bit of a pause here as we talk things over for paiN. Looking to get one round on the board, presumably. Or
it's actually an EG timeout again, Mike.
Again, just when I don't expect it. Call for the timeout. All right. I mean, if they win this, right, with the SMGs, it's massive. The opportunity is huge. Last time we saw a massive tempo changer, we saw the fast play called and coming through when they came off of the pause. See if they go for something similar. Could see aggression with the SMGs. Oh, aggression with the AWP. Junior jumping. Not spotting just yet, but there's an op on the other side, so he's not going to want to test that again.
I'm not sure if he saw the head of the opper in Zevi, because he did not even try to repeat that or take it again. Oh, Walco pushing up into Banana and gets Hardzal, makes it a 5v4, but he's trapped. Probably traded out here, and he is. Bigu's there, a nice little headshot, so that evens out the numbers, and Bigu's going to take this space. Probably expecting to play around half wall. From the flash, and George goes for the info hop at the wrong time. Biguzera takes him down, and look at this now.
They know this next player's here.
Yeah.
They also have a decent idea that Hex is stuck. That nade's going to be there just to punish him. Actually doesn't land as well as Bigu was hoping, but I like the idea. So they might just wait for the smoke to fade and then hit the site regardless, because they know that ultimately there's only one there. They don't know if rotations come in for sure, but able to devil you know. That's exactly what they're going to do. And speaking to the devil they know, Hex has left. This is going to turn into a save for Evil Geniuses, you'd imagine.
No, this is the right call for EG. Stack 3 players on one site. If they don't come there, you keep the guns. If they do, you have a better chance at winning the round. So, well, I mean, this one's done. paiN are definitely going to go to the B site, and they will get a free bomb plant and round victory. So, like, the early aggression from the Evil Geniuses was good for Walco, but the problem was he didn't have a backup plan on how to get back towards the B site, and he was trapped in Cubby. Because he doesn't get a second one, that opens up a ton of space for Big Uzera to walk in, and afterwards, George just went for that info hop at the wrong time. Big Uzera closed the gap and took him down easily. So, paiN Gaming are going to take themselves an 8th, but the good news for the Evil Geniuses is it's not all done in this round. This was kind of a bonus round for them with the SMGs. They still have cash to invest into the rifles next round, and Junior kept his op, which is the important piece.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to string this along no problem. Right?
Yes.
Hex and Rush can drop. They'll have full utility, or just about, most likely as well. So in some ways, the buy will actually be better into the next, with the 2 rifles added in, with the utility a little bit more built up. But paiN crack open an opportunity here. And if they can win in this round, that's where things get interesting. So a swing round. I do love some swing rounds. And this is a real swingy one, John.
Oh, indeed. Both sides looking a little bit rough. paiN less so. And that T-side economy can be quick to recover, especially if you find the bomb plan. So I'd say if paiN gets bomb plan here, they'll be okay economic-wise, but Evil Genius is a little bit tougher for them with everyone below the 1K mark. 2-1-2 split here for paiN as they try to charge in.
They've heard the op. That might change their ideas, right? They've heard Junior on the spot. There's 3 players over here initially. paiN are finding some space top brackets, but the rotation is on for Evil Geniuses, having shown that presence top B. They're moving everybody over here towards A, and it's a timely rotate. Peek back in for Walco. He knows that he's got the space clear. This is looking like it might be planned to be a split B. Could just be an outright A take as well. If they can catch this kill on Junior, he's under pressure. They've gotten past him, but he gets the kill still. And now he's holding on to this position. EG.jeorge knows he needs it, but he can't find the frag. Massive play from Junior to now give his teammates a bit of an opportunity, and still the first domino piece is falling.
They think it's B.
Site. They don't really know, so they're trying to hedge their bets. Big kill from Zebby. Traded there from Hex, but he can't hold out the next. And this bomb's going down. You can imagine this turns into a retake. But 2-on-2, the advantages available for EG are slim.
I mean, you got a couple of flashes. Another one was picked up off the ground there by George. So maybe
Smoke
George.
as well. You can section out mini pit.
Yeah, exactly. There's an opportunity here. They have to try.
But time's starting to become an issue, and they are not going to try.
Yeah, it must have been Junior wanted to hit a shot. If maybe if he hits it through the wall and gets a player there, then they try to go for it. But because the shot doesn't connect, he didn't spot anything either. He says, okay, well, let's keep the op in play. And I can't blame them. It's so difficult to retake that A site, even with even numbers.
I mean, this is the reality of Inferno, right? Playing the long game, playing the numbers, playing the advantages. But here's where we talk about it. The opportunity is now right on the doorstep of paiN. You'd imagine the investment's not going to come around these 2 guns. So this round, you've only got a little bit of a threat. You get the opportunity to knot things up.
Evil Geniuses. It's an eco. Full on save, in fact. Aside from the op and the AK.
Junior.
What happened to Junior there?
I genuinely don't know. I think he thought... So he gets flashed. He's full white blind. I think he thought he was over sliding towards Arch. I think. It's either, unless he DCs at the end of this round, I'm going to say he thought he was on the geometry on the wall and sliding away, but he just flies in towards mid full blind. So that is a a massive kill given up early, and they're going to get rid of his AWP as well. Make sure that it can't be recovered. So, big threats out of this round. George, he's the secondary. And this is actually working out. A kill with the USP,
Whoa.
and team realize they have to bail. They have to bail. The kill will come back.
But there's still 2 towards A.
Yeah, this isn't done. It's just USPs here. But if they explode from the cubby, it's the AWP they're up against. That is the ideal one for them to find. All about timing here. There's the peek. The rifle slides in. NEKiZ might not expect a second, and he's dropped. Hex will gain this gun. paiN, it's getting very touchy. Hex gonna work his way in towards apartments. Taking all the time
Maybe
in the
they
world.
just save.
George has a kit. I don't think they're going to save. The opportunity's too big here. They're going to have a buy in the next. If you win this round, it's huge. With the molly in towards pit, this could be working. They're trying to set up the peak here for Hex. The Molotov in towards pit. Can Hex capitalize? No, he can't. And with that, that's going to determine it. I love the idea, though, from Evil Geniuses, right? George sets up the molly right as Hex is swinging out Balk. You're trying to catch that pit player. If you do, suddenly you've got a huge chance at the defuse. But paiN, they waver, they wobble. But ultimately, they'll still find a 10th round.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary for them, though, no doubt about it, when they tried to get into that B site. Obviously, they walked into the rifle, but the USP kill was so important for EG, and it pushes paiN off the site. Then they walk in towards A. Don't expect 2 players to be tucked into the cubby. I mean, honestly, who would? Not exactly an orthodox play there. So Hex manages to get the jump on another player and pick up an AK. But like you said, that was a nice idea with the setup. The thing is, when it doesn't work out, they say, okay, let's save whatever we can, and that's only 1 player and 1 rifle, but it's still something out of the round. So we're all knotted up again. 10-10. Close affair as we expected between these 2 teams who are at the top of ECL. Malco gets the opening frag onto Hardzal here. He's exposed again. Needs to be careful. Not really much support. And now there is. He gets a Molotov thrown in his direction. He'll be able to back off there.
Oh, look at the space, though.
Look at NEKiZ.
He's gained all of this room. This is something Walco did in the first half. Now, it's all about NEKiZ. He's got another.
Goodness.
Doesn't expect the last, but even that, he'll find damage onto George. And now they know the B-site defenders are off, so it's a foot race. They are racing on towards the site. George will dump the Molotov, but he's still smoked out. He still can't cross this. Risks a smoke of his own to try and get the angle in the space, but Zevi tracks him through the tracers, and the bomb is down. Hex wants to make a play. Oh, Hex is going to walk his way through.
They
and he
turn
takes
away.
2. He's time for the defuse. The 3rd player's not here. He doesn't know it, though. If he just sits on the defuse, this is over.
He's too wary. I mean, I can't blame him. He's got reinforcements coming in. Skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to come back in time.
Now he's been spotted. He ate that flash. They need to get on that bomb. They need to get on that bomb. Bill's taking the first. Oh, but not the last. Time enough for the defuse, and they will slip the round through, but it's expensive, John. It's so expensive.
But the important part is they keep the op. Hex grabs it off the ground. He'll be able to drop that for Junior, so the buy won't be as bad because of that. But man, that was a crazy round. You know, Walco gets the opener, but all of a sudden you see NEKiZ slip through, gets a 2K. Luckily for at least EG, he's shut down by George. And afterwards, just a valiant effort by Hex. And in fact, great timing, slipping through that smoke. And they looked away for whatever reason, turning away as the bomb is planted, maybe thinking about the next move, trying to reposition as soon as the bomb goes down to dirt. But in that moment, Hex pushes through and lines up a 2K. Well done. Next at 19 and 11, leading the team and the server here. Good Molotov thrown by paiN, though. As they gain the space, but a better nade. Big Azera and Hardzal both around the half health mark now as a result.
That's a punishing one. Though they do want to pressure in towards B. Taking some ground here in the apartments as well. 2 pushing halls. They don't want to go further than that. And paiN don't seem to have made up their mind regardless. They've taken his top banana presence. Now they're going to try and work something towards mid. A lot of room. Junior had rotated off. Pressure on if they just go through with this. But they're leaving their options open. This isn't a commit. This is just a little bit of presence to hold the bodies, and it actually looks like they might be finishing B. I think.
It feels like it, yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
not.
given where Zevi is, he's holding that angle. It feels like B has to be the destination.
Well, we would be
No,
wrong about
really?
that one.
Okay.
Having seen
Interesting.
nothing, they're going to try their luck here on the A site. And on the smoke fade, Rush could be in a lot of trouble, and indeed he is. So the first domino falls, the first piece is out. Player in the graveyard, very exposed over the smoke. Hex gets one, he's playing the one way, but no more. They're wise to his shenanigans. And even though he found a lot of damage, Junior is going to have to step up strong.
Oh my
found.
goodness.
He'll set up his teammates with the possibility of the retake, but NEKiZ, they never expected his positioning. And so it's all on to George here. All on to George. And we talked about it. That last round was so expensive that this one could be punishing unless George can bring it back. He's going to give it a look. They're giving him no fights. Nothing will be given for free, and he's got no utility for this either. So as he sections out the site, eventually he's going to realize there's just no one here to fight with him. A peek, a check. NEKiZ will find the kill.
Wow. I mean, look, paiN had the player towards top man, but also into the apps. There was someone lurking out there. So they said, you know what? Let's send it A, which surprised me a little bit because that was the tougher site. They didn't have as much information there. Not to say they had a lot towards the B site either, but still, at least the player was posted up and they could have supported a push with that posted up op. Either way, they win it. Nicely done. Sectioning off the fights and making sure that all three of them were 1v1s. Junior, my goodness. I mean, his movement is so on point right now. He gets 2 out of that in a very, very tough spot. If he gets the third, which seemed possible, then all of a sudden Evil Geniuses again would have the edge, but just fell shy of that. Tied up 11-11. paiN Gaming, they've got all the guns here. We'll see if they walk into the stack. It's just USPs, though. No armor, no util.
They're seeing nothing towards B. Look, they're taking the space. They're moving around the corner. They've seen nothing in response here, so they're going to give it a poke, and as soon as they do, the ball will make its way over. There's the push in, so they know there's at least one here. A little awkward for NEKiZ. I think he hit his scroll wheel. A little panic jump there at an unfortunate time, but Skulls' job is now to keep this gun away from their grubby little mitts. The bomb will be down. Skulls bails out for a chance at the reload, but he's actually so wary. He's so wary. He doesn't want to give himself a second. Hits the burst.
Burst fire?
Yeah, it was indeed. And Skulls will get himself 4.
Oh, wow. Skulls climbing up the scoreboard now into his usual pole position. 18-13. 12-11 for paiN, who have finally taken the lead here against the Evil Geniuses. It's been so very back and forth.
Well, not really since the half switch, has it, John? I mean, there were the rounds off the initial rip for EG, but they've just managed to keep paiN Gaming away. But once the guns have come out, it's been major pressure on for this Evil Geniuses side.
Yeah. The op-out for Junior. You got the 3 A1Ss and the FAMAS. Of course, it wasn't a buy-up in that previous round. We have to kind of iterate on that, or reiterate that. Walko's going to get connected with an A down to 47 HP, and as a result is forced to back off a little bit. He has the util still, the smoke and the Molotov to use. And we'll see when he decides to deploy it, but not much presence left for paiN towards top banana. 4 players trying to challenge top mid, and bigZeor is going to walk in towards bracket. He has EG.Jeorge supporting, and yeah, they've got the space, but they're not really going to use it. Instead, they decide to go back to the B site. I guess realizing that because they gained that space, Evil Geniuses might be forced to keep these players on the A site and soften up B a little bit. There's still a lot of time here, so they could go back to that A hit in the end.
"45 seconds on the clock. Utility very limited for paiN here. And I guess the same can be said for EG, but there's still a bit. Mostly to stall out on B. Here's the flashbang over. It's a Hall's pop. Pressure on. Hex takes the first. And there's nothing to clear him out of this. So now Rush can capitalize. The bombs on the balk. They need to get this kill. And Skulls is stuck. He knows it. He needs a teammate to fight with him in towards the site. 20 seconds. They are running out of chances here. And it's just a complete shutdown. A wall has been raised. And Zevi, he's running. Tail tucked. He's just trying to get out of this. And I don't know if they're going to allow him. A little bit of a fake out there. Love that. They think he's running the apps. And so now that he gets this kill. Oh, God, it's so very nervous. He's got to be a dead man, certainly. No, apparently not.
There it
Junior will
is.
finally bring him down.
Oh, goodness. After time as well. Didn't really matter, though, in terms of the economy. 12-12, all tied up. That was some great patience and poise from the Evil Geniuses, right? They don't over-rotate. They hold their spots, keep everyone posted up exactly where they started the round, and it pays off because paiN hesitated back and forth, B to A, and then finally ending up at the A site. But Evil Geniuses hit all of their shots, and they force paiN onto what will be a light buy with pistols only. It's going to be 3 Tech 9s, a P250, and a Deagle, as Zevi is going to be the tip of the spear, potentially, towards bracket at least. Because Aaron Hardzau are exploring to see what they can find up Banana. And Evil Geniuses don't have as much utility as they would like because they haven't had their economic footing. What a shot from Bigu! Walco is dropped to the dirt. Junior is going to get one, and he doesn't get challenged again.
Yeah, they don't want to threaten him there. I mean, the opportunity was missed for the wide swing off of it, right?
Yeah.
And EKiZ realizes he's like, probably missed my spot. They've got some space on towards B.Jeorge, though. They'll punish the first, and there's no cross smoke. So even if they get back to this with the angle that Junior's holding, it's going to be very tough to get this bomb down. Molotov to clear. Big Sarah gone. Here's the swing. Decent damage on the rush. That's all they get out of it. So started off a little exciting, but EG corral it. They're back into the lead.
Whew. Nice deal shot, like you said, to kick things off. It was exciting, but it fizzled out, and Evil Geniuses controlled the pace afterwards. Junior with another 2, and he is just on point right now. The only moment we're like, oh, what's happening, Junior, was when he was flashed down mid in a round where he had saved the op on board from the previous round. And other than that, he has looked phenomenal, both in terms of his aim and his movement. Rush. Throwing a flashbang there, going for a peek down mid. Doesn't see much and says, okay, I'm going to fall back here. 3 players charging down Banana.
Oh,
George is going to get one onto Bigu, and he spams through the smoke to try and get a second, but no, he's trapped, Mike, and he gets traded.
Still a 1-for-1's not bad there. paiN aren't mad about that in sum total. That was a little spicy. Flashbang timing maybe just a little bit off. Can they capitalize? 4 players taking the site. It's just 2 turtled up. They don't have pit position either. That's a bit of position of strength for them. They're going to give it up. Opt to play towards the sites instead. Well, the flank is coming in. Zevi has to be careful not to get caught. He's coming back down. This is so bold. That's the bomb. That's the C4. Oh, no. A rare mistake made here by paiN, but it's a big one. Be able to retrieve the bomb. Junior really doesn't want to commit into that fight.
Yeah.
That's... Go ahead, John.
He took a low percentage shot, I was going to say, and gave away his position a little too early. Probably should have waited a little bit longer before he actually decided to fire off.
Here's where it all matters. Here's where it all comes to pass. 1-for-1, and there's the second as well. The bomb will be planted. They've got this pit position as well. What kind of util do we have? Some flashes, a single smoke, so they can section out the pit fight. That might actually be the difference maker. Problem is Junior's, well, he's in the balk. It's a little tough to throw it from this angle.
He might just go for the fight.
He is going to peek. Confirms the position. Shot through the wall. Not going to land on the first. Wanted to swing on the site. Skulls was under pressure. Smoke makes life difficult for Skulls, but he'll try and play around it.
They're saving.
EG are backing away. Oh, wow. We've seen it a few times. If they don't have an obvious path in, they don't want it.
Yep. No, I mean, they tried for it, right? And NEKiZ and Skulls go down, so no gun saved over. And the economy's not that great for paiN, right? This has been very back and forth. 13-13 all tied up. That means this will be a swing round again. Evil Geniuses should be able to purchase up. I would highly expect it with a couple of players saving up. And yeah, there you go. So you're going to have 2 A1Ss, the AK, the AWP that were saved over, and the FAMAS for Rush on the defensive side. But for paiN, like I said, their economy's not exactly perfect either, and that means you have to settle for an SMG, the MAC-10, the Tech 9, and then 2 AKs and a Galil around that. Oh boy. Things are getting interesting here as we're going down to the wire. Junior gets the opening frag onto Hardzau. He's going to have to use the smoke for himself as Hex covers him. Then he goes around and finds a second. Man, has he been good. Skulls and Zevi, the last 2 standing here, Mike.
They tried to go for the faster play, the pacier play. Turns out EG were waiting for that all day. I mean, this one's a disaster. Just a complete non-starter is what it looks like. Zevi going down will make it just that little bit worse. So now for Skulls, they'll try and do some damage, try and do some sort of economic damage, but ultimately, he's probably just going to try and die here. Check on, double swing. George taking a few licks, but it's all good here. And EG, they're so close to the finish line now, they can taste it.
That's just, it's phenomenal. Because of how back and forth this has been, the loss bonus hasn't been built up that much for paiN Gaming, and you see their money's in the tank. They might even go for the Force buy here. You saw Zevi commit. There it is. Yeah, Force is coming through. It's not going to yield that much, Skulls. Maybe a MAC-10 purchased up. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that extra money. No, he decides instead to go for the util. Makes sense because of how limited it was. They need something to go for an executor, but it means that pistols only for paiN in what could be a decisive round, because if they lose here, they still won't have much in the next.
Zevi just got stabbed by a teammate, but only for 8 damage.
Interesting.
Even though you could... The butter knife.
It's well, it's less damage when it's team damage, right? So.
Yeah, but that's not that much less. Just a little tickle of the toes.
Eh.
Is knifing different if you knife someone in the foot?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's find out. Junior's going to get shot in the face. Don't have to worry about his feet. And now the op's been gained. We've seen these rounds work for paiN before. This one's not done. And major pressure onto EG. The pressure coming from CT. Walko goes for a peek. He's a goner. So he's not going to. Still, what do you do here? Right? You're under so much threat. Both players have been sectioned out. One in towards Emo. That's not ideal, but still. They're trying to make this happen on the fly. Here's the swing around. Trade's not on. Walko. So much damage. George didn't peek. Oh! It's come down to Hardzao in the clutch. He still needs to plant the bomb. Both players are rocking up banana. So what's his plant spot? He doesn't even have the C4. He doesn't even have the C4. He's just going to have to shoot his way out. Now he's gained it. He's waiting to see if he can punish on the timing. Starting to clear in. Oh, I like the idea. The execution's not there. EG, they wobble, but they regain. And now they just need one more round.
Oh, wow. I mean, I really do like that setup from Walko and George. Walko, I mean, I would say George having a lot of confidence in his IGL, saying, look, do as much damage as you can. I'm going to tuck myself in here. Walko gets 2. George doesn't reveal his position until Walko goes down, and it's just a great lineup that he gets gifted. Eventually is dropped by Hardzao, but by that point, Evil Geniuses were already, like you mentioned, charging down banana, trying to get back to that site. And Hardzao, good idea. Unfortunately, execution didn't work out for him. And now, again, as mentioned, because they forced up in that previous round, it's going to be another pistol buy up here. They do manage to squeak through a MAC-10 and a little more util than previous, but this is going to be a very, very tough road to overtime for paiN.
See if they got it, though. Can never count them out with the Tech 9s. EG have done a great job. I mean, yes, a couple of them have come through, but EG have done a great job of not wobbling when that happens. And a good job recovering. I mean, in that last round in particular. Let's see if they've got one more in them. Walko, he's first point of contact. He spots the players. Nade comes out, and he'll fade towards the site. So he's giving up the space. This could be the splitting towards B, but Junior, he's going to fight forward as a result. He wants to clear some out towards Banana. The Molotov is a little awkward, but it covers and spreads just enough. They're not at risk right now. Still, the pinch is eventually going to come through. Surprised Hardzao's not keeping the pace up on this. And instead, they've counter pinched. They're coming down to push down mid. The bomb's dropped. Zevi, not long for this world. One way or another, he is stuck. And even the rotation in Rush is holding for it. He's got 2. It's all onto Zevi, and there's not much more he can do. Great Inferno showing from the Evil Geniuses. They'll take it 16-13, but for me, it's so encouraging, right? Because it's exactly the things we've highlighted as potential issues. They still lose some of those rounds in the first half to the clock, but they come out with a good T side, and then they build on it in the second half.
Yeah, I mean...